Imagine if just 12 simple rules could transform your life, bringing order to chaos, meaning to suffering, and discipline to confusion. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos, is more than just self-help. It's a deep psychological, philosophical, and practical guide to living with responsibility, truth, and resilience. In today's video, we'll break down each of these rules in a way that's not just informative, but deeply engaging. Stay with me until the end. You won't want to miss the profound wisdom this book has to offer. Rule 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. What does posture have to do with success? More than you might think. Peterson draws from biology, particularly the behavior of lobsters, to illustrate a fundamental truth about hierarchy and confidence. Lobsters, like humans, exist in social structures where dominance plays a role. The ones that assert themselves with an upright posture release more serotonin, a neurotransmitter associated with confidence and stability. As a result, they are more likely to win conflicts, gain access to resources, and secure better territory. Now, how does this apply to you? Standing up straight with your shoulders back is more than just a physical action. It's a psychological shift. When you adopt a posture of confidence, it not only changes how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Slouching, avoiding eye contact, and presenting yourself as small can reinforce feelings of insecurity and anxiety. But when you straighten your back, lift your head, and make eye contact, you signal to your brain and to the world that you are capable and worthy. This rule is not just about physical posture. It's about taking ownership of your existence. Life can be challenging, and sometimes the weight of responsibility feels overwhelming. However, by simply changing how you carry yourself, you start to take charge of your own destiny. Confidence breeds success, and success breeds more confidence. So, stand up straight, both physically and metaphorically, and take on life with resilience. Rule 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Why do we often treat others better than we treat ourselves? Peterson delves into this paradox by pointing out that people frequently take better care of their pets or loved ones than they do of themselves. If your friend were sick, you'd likely make sure they took their medication, got enough rest, and followed the doctor's advice. Yet, when it comes to our own well-being, we tend to neglect self-care, self-respect, and personal growth. Peterson argues that this self-neglect is often rooted in deep-seated guilt or feelings of unworthiness. Many people subconsciously believe they're not deserving of care and attention. But here's the truth. You are just as deserving of kindness, discipline, and help as anyone else. You have a responsibility to yourself, just as you would for someone in need. Caring for yourself doesn't mean indulging in short-term pleasures or avoiding discomfort. True self-care means treating yourself with the long-term respect and care that leads to a better future. This includes making responsible decisions, maintaining good health, setting boundaries, and working toward meaningful goals. Think of yourself as your own best friend, your own caregiver. The more you respect yourself, the more you'll find that life rewards you with stability, confidence, and fulfillment. Rule 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Your social circle has a profound impact on your life. Peterson warns against associating with people who are destructive, cynical, or uninterested in your growth. Toxic relationships can drag you down, limit your potential, and reinforce negative habits. We often stay in bad friendships out of loyalty, guilt, or fear of being alone. But true friendship should be built on mutual support, trust, and encouragement. The best friends are those who celebrate your successes, push you to be better, and stand by you in times of need, not those who undermine your progress or enable your self-destructive tendencies. If you find yourself surrounded by people who bring you down, it might be time to reevaluate your relationships. Seek out friends who inspire you, challenge you, and genuinely want you to succeed. Remember, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely, because the right friends can help you become the best version of yourself. Rule 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. In the age of social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. We see people flaunting their achievements, vacations, and success, and we begin to feel inadequate. But as Peterson wisely points out, comparing yourself to others is a dangerous and futile game. There will always be someone richer, smarter, more attractive, or more accomplished than you. If you measure your worth against others, you'll always find yourself lacking. Instead, Peterson advises focusing on your own progress. The only valid comparison is between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Are you learning more? Are you becoming a better version of yourself? Progress, no matter how small, is what truly matters. By setting personal goals and tracking your own development, you create a path to genuine fulfillment. Growth is an ongoing journey, and as long as you are moving forward, no matter how slowly, you are succeeding. Shift your focus inward, recognize your own achievements, and strive for continuous self-improvement. That's the true key to happiness and success. Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Parenting is one of the most challenging yet crucial responsibilities a person can undertake. Peterson argues that children must be guided with discipline, not to suppress their individuality, but to help them function effectively in the world. If a child is not taught proper behavior, they will struggle to integrate into society and will face rejection from their peers, teachers, and eventually employers. Many parents avoid disciplining their children because they want to be liked. They fear that setting boundaries will make them seem harsh or unloving. However, Peterson points out that neglecting discipline doesn't lead to a better relationship. It leads to resentment. If a child constantly misbehaves, throws tantrums, or disrespects others without correction, even their own parents may begin to dislike them. And if their parents feel that way, how will the rest of the world treat them? Rules, structure, and discipline are not about control. They are about love. A well-behaved child is a happy child because they understand expectations and boundaries. A child who learns discipline early on will grow into an adult who is respected, confident, and capable of handling life's challenges. Correcting a child's behavior when they are young is far kinder than allowing them to grow up into an undisciplined adult who suffers constant rejection and hardship. Rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. It is easy to point fingers at society, blaming politicians, corporations, or the world at large for our problems. But Peterson challenges us to first look inward. Before trying to fix the world, ask yourself, have I put my own life in order? Have I taken responsibility for my actions, my habits, and my circumstances? This rule is deeply personal and powerful. Many people fall into bitterness and resentment, blaming external forces for their suffering while ignoring their own ability to improve their situation. Peterson acknowledges that life is undeniably hard, full of suffering and injustice. However, he argues that dwelling on these injustices without first addressing our own shortcomings is hypocritical and unproductive. He encourages individuals to start small. Clean your room. Organize your space. Take control of your finances. Address your personal relationships. Build good habits. These actions may seem minor, but they create a foundation for a better life. If you can bring order to your personal world, you will be in a much stronger position to contribute meaningfully to society. Change starts from within, and before we demand that the world improve, we must ensure we are living up to our own highest standards. Rule 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. In a world driven by instant gratification, it is tempting to seek out the easy path. Many people chase pleasure, whether it's money, status, entertainment, or comfort, only to find themselves feeling empty and unfulfilled. Peterson urges us to resist this temptation and instead pursue what is meaningful, even if it requires sacrifice and hard work. What does it mean to pursue meaning? It means taking responsibility. It means choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It means building a life based on values, discipline, and genuine purpose rather than simply reacting to whatever feels good in the moment. History and mythology are filled with stories that reinforce this idea. The hero's journey, found in countless cultures, always involves sacrifice. The hero must give up comfort, face great challenges, and endure hardship before achieving true fulfillment. In real life, this principle holds true. People who dedicate themselves to meaningful work, strong relationships, and personal growth find a deeper sense of purpose than those who chase pleasure without direction. So, what is meaningful to you? What is worth sacrificing for? By answering these questions, you can begin to align your life with something greater than fleeting pleasure. This is the path to true satisfaction and resilience. Rule 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Honesty is more than a moral principle. It is the foundation of a stable and authentic life. Peterson argues that when we lie, we distort reality, not just for others, but for ourselves. Lies create confusion, breed mistrust, and ultimately make life far more complicated than it needs to be. Why do people lie? Often, it is to avoid conflict, embarrassment, or responsibility. However, Peterson warns that every lie chips away at our integrity and creates a false world in which we are trapped. The more we deceive others, the more we deceive ourselves, until we lose sight of what is real altogether. Telling the truth, on the other hand, is not just about being honest with others. It is about being honest with ourselves. It forces us to confront reality, no matter how difficult, and to take responsibility for our actions. Speaking truthfully can be uncomfortable, but leads to clarity, trust, and genuine relationships. It simplifies life by aligning us with reality rather than constructing a web of deception. Peterson's advice is clear. If you cannot bring yourself to tell the absolute truth, at the very least, do not lie. Avoiding falsehood, even if you don't yet have the courage to speak the full truth, is a step toward a more authentic and meaningful existence. Rule 9. Assume the person you're listening to might know something you don't. In today's fast-paced world, people are quick to talk, but slow to listen. Conversations often become competitions where each person is waiting for their turn to speak rather than genuinely engaging with what the other person is saying. Peterson urges us to break this habit by assuming that every person we meet knows something valuable that we don't. When you truly listen to someone, you gain access to their unique experiences, insights, and knowledge. Every person has lived a life different from yours, encountered challenges you haven't faced, and learned lessons you have yet to discover. By listening with curiosity rather than defensiveness, you open yourself up to perspectives that can broaden your understanding of the world. This rule is also about humility. It acknowledges that no matter how much we think we know, there is always more to learn. When we assume we already have all the answers, we shut ourselves off from growth. But when we approach conversations as opportunities for learning, we expand our minds and deepen our connections with others. Listening is a skill that requires practice. It means focusing fully on the speaker, asking thoughtful questions, and resisting the urge to immediately insert our own opinions. When you listen in this way, not only do you gain new insights, but you also show respect and build stronger relationships. People appreciate being truly heard, and in return, they become more open to hearing what you have to say. Rule 10. Be precise in your speech. Words shape our reality. The way we describe problems, emotions, and goals determines how we understand and approach them. Peterson emphasizes the importance of precise speech, arguing that vagueness and ambiguity lead to confusion, miscommunication, and unnecessary suffering. When people fail to clearly articulate their thoughts, they leave room for misunderstanding. This applies to relationships, work, and even personal struggles. For example, if you tell your partner, "I'm unhappy," without specifying why, they may not understand what's wrong or how to fix it. But if you say, "I feel lonely because we haven't spent much time together lately," you provide clarity that leads to a productive conversation. Being precise in your speech also helps you confront problems more effectively. If you vaguely feel that something in your life is wrong but can't put it into words, the problem remains nebulous and overwhelming. However, if you take the time to define the issue clearly, whether it's dissatisfaction with your job, a conflict with a friend, or a personal struggle, you gain power over it. Once a problem is precisely identified, you can begin to solve it. Precision requires honesty and effort. It means choosing words carefully, avoiding exaggeration, and making your intentions clear. It is a practice that enhances communication, strengthens relationships, and helps you navigate life with greater confidence and effectiveness. Rule 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. This rule may seem oddly specific, but its message is profound. Peterson uses the example of children skateboarding to illustrate the importance of risk-taking in personal growth. He argues that modern society has become overprotective, trying to eliminate all risks for young people in an attempt to keep them safe. However, this well-intentioned approach can actually do more harm than good. Children and teenagers naturally seek out challenges that push their limits. Whether it's skateboarding, climbing trees, or engaging in competitive sports, these activities teach them valuable lessons about resilience, courage, and overcoming fear. When children take risks and sometimes fail, they learn how to adapt, problem solve, and build confidence in their abilities. Overprotecting young people robs them of these critical experiences. If they are shielded from every potential danger, they may grow up fearful, risk-averse, and unable to handle the inevitable challenges of adult life. Peterson argues that rather than eliminating all risks, we should allow children to test their limits in controlled environments, guiding them but not stifling their natural development. This principle applies not just to children, but to all of us. Growth comes from stepping outside of our comfort zones. Facing challenges, taking calculated risks, and enduring occasional failure are necessary for personal strength and resilience. A life without challenge leads to stagnation, whereas a life filled with meaningful challenges leads to mastery and fulfillment. Rule 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. At first glance, this rule may seem whimsical, but it carries a deeply philosophical message. Peterson uses it as a metaphor for finding small moments of beauty and comfort in a world that is often harsh and unpredictable. Life is full of suffering. Illness, loss, disappointment, and setbacks are inevitable. In the face of such difficulties, it is easy to become overwhelmed by despair. However, Peterson suggests that even in the darkest times, there are small sources of joy that can help us endure. A stray cat crossing your path, the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a friend. These moments may be fleeting, but they remind us that beauty still exists amid chaos. This rule is also about mindfulness. When life feels unbearable, focusing on small, simple pleasures can provide a sense of relief and grounding. It is a reminder to stay present and appreciate what is good, even when much is going wrong. Furthermore, this principle encourages resilience. If you can find joy in something as simple as petting a cat, then you can find the strength to keep going. You don't have to solve all of life's problems at once. Sometimes, survival is about taking things one moment at a time and appreciating the little things that make life worth living. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life is a call to personal responsibility, courage, and truth. These rules aren't about imposing rigid restrictions. They're about building a life of meaning, resilience, and strength. Which of these rules resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this summary valuable. See you in the next video.